Hey everybody, so today for you, I'll be doing Spam and fried rice. I am going to do, for the rice, 4 cups of rice to 8 cups of water at 4 tablespoons of butter and 2 tablespoons of salt. I'm going to go ahead and bring that to a boil, and while this boils, I'm going to go ahead and cut some Spam up. So, I'm going to leave this at high, go ahead and bring that to a boil. Going at a high heat, it's gonna boil. I have my pan ready, my butter ready to go. Over here is the soy sauce, which will be marinating the Spam into it. So right now, I'm gonna be adding egg and mixed veggies also to the Spam and fried rice. Go ahead and get the mixed veggies while that goes. Get them nice and out, ready to go. I'm going to do a little bit simple today, kind of cheat the system, and use frozen veggies. It's always best to use fresh, but frozen sometimes is good. I'm also going to add green onion, which is like the chives and stuff like that. So let's go ahead, we're going to cut this into slices here. Just going to go nice, thin, little looking slice into the soy sauce. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to prep the pan after I get this all cut. Let's go ahead and keep going. So you want to get it nice and thinly sliced, about pretty even, all throughout. I can usually get about 9-10 slices, decent slices. And what I'm going to do is after it cooks, I'm going to cut it down into like cubes, and then it's going to go into the rice with the veggies and everything else. For the veggies, you can also add green beans or broccoli. It gives it another flavor to the mix. For the broccoli, I usually like to throw it in with a little bit of minced garlic into the pan and soy sauce, so it gives it some flavor, and throw it into the fried rice mix. So then I don't also have to throw a bunch of soy sauce on top of the rice because it's already within the Spam and it's already within the broccoli and it's already cooked. But for now, today I'm going simple. It's just going to be green peas and carrots. So let's go ahead and let's get this all marinated. This is just inside of soy sauce. It kind of adds a flavor to the Spam. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it and I'm also going to flip the Spam. So it gets both sides kind of coated with that soy sauce. I kind of mixed the rice just now so it doesn't stick. The butter will help it. But as you can see, I got the Spam here inside of the pan, and it's got the soy sauce on the other side of the Spam. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to flip it in a little bit, and it's going to add the flavor to the other side. And while that goes, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to go to the pan here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some butter into that pan. I'm going to turn it on, kind of let it melt. And once that butter melts, I will throw the slices of Spam into the pan, and it'll kind of just cook the Spam for me. And then from there, I'm just going to go directly back onto the cutting board. No need for any drying method or anything like that, because you're going to wipe off the soy sauce, and you don't really want to do that. And it's going to give a nice glaze to the pan as each piece hits the pan, especially with the butter. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn on the heat here. Going to do that. Grab a fork and go ahead and flip the Spam. Watch as the butter kind of melts some. So I'm kind of eyeing it. I don't want the butter to burn. If it burns, then I have to scratch it and restart. And I don't feel like having to do that. So I'm kind of being eyeful for the butter, because if the butter burns, then you just have to, begin again. It makes it harder because then you're having to scrap everything and restart, and it wastes time and it doesn't get anywhere. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and we're just going to kind of move the pan around, kind of glaze the pan with the butter in different areas instead of just letting it kind of sit off to the side and the center and all that. There we go. Kind of just get it all over. Kind of feel for the heat. You can feel the heat kind of bouncing off the pan. When you know that the heat's kind of there, You could just feel it very faint. We're gonna take the Spam out of the dish, and you see how it's all nicely glazed. We're just gonna go ahead and place it down in there, and then while these ones cook, we're gonna grab other ones and place them inside this pan and let them kind of marinate. And that's how this process really goes. I usually like to put 3 to 4 slices of Spam into the pan at a time without taking up too much space. Reason being is because then it makes it easier to cook. It kind of goes by a little faster than crabbing up the pan with too much. So while this goes ahead and cooks, I'm gonna go ahead and get more into this pan here. Let's go ahead and kind of stir the rice a little bit. I'll let you guys kind of focus on that Spam while the rice goes. I'm gonna go over here and kind of just mix that rice. Don't want it sticking to the bottom of the pan. I want to get it nice and mixed and everything. Make sure the butter's melting and the salt kind of mixes in. I'm only fluffing with the fork and mixing so that then the stick kind of like releases. And look at that, that's beautiful. I'm gonna go ahead and while those ones kind of cook, flip these Spam in here so they get the other side now. You want to do it a few minutes in between time frame. Usually like wait a good 3 to 4 minutes so one side gets coated by soy sauce, and then flip the Spam inside the dish. And while these are cooking, now I can go ahead and kind of like lift them, check one side, see how it's cooking. It's cooking pretty nice. And since I have this empty space, I'm just gonna go ahead. It's been about a few minutes since I flipped them last. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna place them down inside that pan in that empty space. I'm gonna place only 2 for now, because I don't, like I said, I don't want to overcrowd the pan. And I want to be able to be watchful for the ones that have been already cooking versus the ones that have not. No need for any salt or pepper because that's all going to go into the mix of the rice itself. As soon as the rice kind of finishes with its simmering, when it gets close, before it starts to kind of stiffen up, I'm going to mix it around with like a wooden spoon or something so I can toss in the green beans and carrots around the same time so they can cook. Alright, so we're going to go ahead, we're going to check these other ones that have been cooking for a bit. Nice little bit of a crispiness on the other side. Going to go ahead and get that even crispiness on the other side too. Check these ones look pretty good. We're going to go ahead and flip them as well. Look at that. They're all nice and kind of like you can kind of see like a golden pinkish kind of color. As soon as these are done, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to move them to the cutting board, and then we're going to take that knife that I had last and just kind of like cut them into cubes, and then from there just kind of leave them as is on the cutting board. Yeah, and then go from there. It's a pretty easy, simple step process. It doesn't take much. It's not very time consuming. It should only take a few minutes out of your time to cook if you really want to take like an easy cooking step. It's pretty, like, I'd say simple, pretty easy going. This to me is like a calming dish to do, only because like Hawaiian dishes are one of my main favorite dishes to have. So getting the experience to do this type of stuff is really cool. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take them off, and look at that. Perfect on this side. All nice and crisp. We're just going to go ahead and lay them across on here. You know, just kind of stack them a little bit so they can cool. And then once they're done cooling, we're going to go ahead and then kind of like cut them up and kind of throw them in there. We're going to go ahead and like toss these ones down in here. Look at that sizzle. Oh yeah. And now we got these two kind of marinating. They're going, I just flipped them. We're going to bring you guys back to this side. I'm going to get some lighting up in here. And so now while we do this, I'm gonna bring you down to this pan and we're gonna go ahead and get those eggs going. So I have this small little pan, butter already melted. Reason why it melted was because there's already preheat to the oven, so it was gonna melt it either way. And if I turned on the heat, I would have burned the butter. And I don't wanna have to restart from scratch. So now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna turn on that heat. I'm gonna turn it down low, kind of, like to about maybe 3 or 4. I'm gonna add some salt and pepper to my eggs, just to give them a little bit of flavor. And then with that eggs, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna pour them into the warmed pan and just sort of throw the eggs into the pan and let them kind of cook. They're gonna slowly cook because I don't want to cook them too fast to where they burn or stick. And even if they start sticking, whatever you have cooked at the top is able to mix just perfectly fine. I did about 4 eggs, but you could do more to your taste.